Zach, you're winding down, got to set a depth chart here pretty soon and get ready to roll. Where do you feel like you are in that process?
Oh, I think we have a pretty good idea who the top 22 are right now. Probably last week for guys to show something here, and with the mock game coming up this weekend. So now or never time for guys, but we feel pretty good. About we got a general idea who the top 2 deep are.
I know it can be a week by week process, but what things about this defense helps you sleep better at night, and what things keep you up at night about this defense?
Oh, I think for the most part we got guys who like playing football, so they play hard and run around, and typically if you have those characteristics, you got a shot at least, right? If you're willing to play hard and be physical. We still, judging by today's scout team period, we still make a lot of assignment errors, so the execution of the scheme sure needs to get a lot better between now and game day. But I think they like playing and they'll run around, and so hopefully they're willing to hit somebody. We'll see when we actually play live tackle football.
You've stressed a lot since you've been here about guys learning different positions so they could be interchangeable in case somebody goes down in the game, and it seems like you got a few guys like that, especially in the front 6, that are interchangeable, can play different spots. How valuable is that on your defense?
Yeah, I hope it is. I don't know, man. Now I'm starting to think maybe we've done so much dual training we don't do anything well. Jack of all trades, master of none. So we'll see.
Last year you guys struggled with depth at the safety position, but this year it seems like you got a pretty solid 2 deep. Doesn't seem to be a big drop off from our vantage point, from the 1s to the 2s. Kind of what are you seeing from that second group, and how comfortable are you putting them in a ball game?
Well, you're gonna have to play more than 1 deep, obviously, right? My message to every guy on the 2s, whether it be D-line, linebackers, safeties, or corners, is there's a reason you're a 2, because there is a drop off. So now we need that drop off to be as minimal as possible, but I mean, we don't sugarcoat it around here, right? If you're the best player, you start, and there's a reason you're a 2. So if you don't like your spot on the depth chart, do something about it.
You mentioned that execution, kind of getting that execution up. Is that something that you got to almost learn it in the fire of a game, or can you do it on the practice field?
I sure hope we can get it done on the practice field. It's not good to get teachable moments on Saturdays. So yeah.
What did you watching the film from the scrimmage on Saturday? What were some takeaways you had?
We did some good things, I mean, couple nice stands down on the red zone or some third downs, but give up a lot of explosive plays because 10 guys are playing one defense and one guy's playing the wrong coverage or blitzing the wrong gap, and so it's funny how the ball has a way of finding you if you make a mistake.
You mentioned the drop-off from 1s to 2s. A guy like Jordan Davis goes down. How much does that affect your preseason preparation, or is it just next guy up, get him in there, and let's go?
I don't talk about injuries.
So DeMonte Russell's a guy we've seen take some increased reps here as of late. He's a guy, too, there were high hopes for as a recruit. What are you seeing from him, and do you think that he's a guy that's really going to be able to contribute maybe as a 2 in the rotation?
I think we got plenty of guys getting a lot of reps, increased reps, and so, DeMonte's one of those guys, and, like I said, my message to everyone is if you're not a starter, it means we think there's noticeable room for improvement, and nothing will make us happier than you proving us wrong that we're incorrect about your spot on the depth chart. So every guy who's a 2 or 3, prove us wrong. That's the best thing for the program, right? Be the best at doing your job, make yourself better every day. That's the best thing you can do to help the team get better.
What do you like most about Tyrus Wheat?
Oh, I like his just quiet demeanor, show up and then play ball, and he's not afraid to be physical when it's time to be physical, but he's got some really athletic attributes that allow you to do some fun things with him. But same thing I tell everyone, no matter how talented you are, if you ain't willing to fly around with effort and play tough, you ain't gonna be a very good football player. And same thing applies to Tyrus as does to everyone else.
Speaking of prove us wrong, how did you think King Ani looked in the scrimmage, and do you think he kind of did that?
Yeah, he did some good things. I mean, I would say every single guy, right, on their grade sheet from every one position coach, there's going to be pluses and minuses, right? And so we got to make sure we maximize the pluses and eliminate as many of those minuses as possible. No, you ain't ever going to play perfect. I mean, that's the game of football. The other side of the ball is coached up to do their job too, right? But we got a lot of minuses to eliminate from our grade sheets.
I think it was 3 or 4 interceptions in that scrimmage. I mean, Coach Leach kind of said that a lot of that was just the offense not executed the way that should. I mean, do you still feel like your group was in the right spots and could create a lot of takeaways this year?
Let me think. One's a tip ball. and it was a rat in the hole or essentially a guy, he's just playing zone coverage, so that went to him. So that's a good player. That's where you're supposed to be. One was, I think we cut a guy loose in man coverage, and the ball was he was either thrown to the wrong guy or it was so far behind him it ends up hitting our guy in the hands and we intercept it. That's just pure dumb luck, right? I can't remember the other ones off the top of my head, but hey, we'll take them any way we can get them.
As the linebacker coach, when you've got guys, like Cam Young and Jaden Crumity up there kind of occupying the middle, what does that do to kind of free up your group to make plays?
I do think anytime you got big, strong D linemen up front who should be difficult to block one-on-one, right? I mean, right, they either have to, in the run game, you either have to double team them at the first level long enough, and then it's hard to get up to the second level if your linebackers are pulling the trigger and flowing fast, or you got to get off them quickly, and then everything's a one-on-one block. And I do feel pretty good about those guys' abilities to play with their hands, be physical, and hopefully get off one-on-one blocks. And if they got to spend time double teaming them, our linebackers aren't making plays, then obviously I'm doing a really poor job coaching the linebackers. So that remains to be seen, I guess.
A guy like John Lewis, I mean, what have you seen early on from him as a freshman, and where do you think he still needs to grow?
We see exactly why we recruited him, right? Big, strong, good-looking guy, runs around hard, not afraid to be physical, and so he's got the skill set we're looking for. Now, there's a lot of room for improvement. I mean, it's very difficult as a freshman to be ready to play as a freshman up near the line of scrimmage, right? D linemen, linebackers, you go from being the big man on campus to all of a sudden those guys blocking you. When you got 700 pounds rolling off the line of scrimmage, between a guard and a tackle, it'll test your courage a little bit. So we have a lot of developing to do in our freshman class. But we like them all. We love them all. They're all good players. So it's time for us to do our job as coaches.